Hey, good evening. I just thought I would just check out. I try to do a video over in my Unity through Arts Exchange group, but I never post over there as far as a live video goes. I just thought I would take a chance and put up a topic and see if anybody would respond live, but maybe they'll come back and respond in the archives. But how's everybody doing? It's kind of late, right? What time is it actually? Well, here it's 8:11, so other places I know it's pretty late, but just thought I would stop by and say hello, see how everybody's doing, see if anybody will come on and chat with me live. I don't have any particular topic to talk about, just felt like talking, I guess, and going live. Tomorrow morning early, I am going to post my first Tell Your Story with Flava. I'm really excited about that, so I've been doing the prep work. Today I did Morning Coffee with Flava. I think it was a good show. So, hey, Tasha. So, hopefully, you are going to dig what this project is all about and meeting some great entertainers. I'm going to start out with people right here in Las Vegas because I can actually, video record them and take pictures and all that good stuff. So, I have a blog that I'll be doing probably maybe tomorrow, maybe this evening, just depending on how I feel. I probably should have been doing that right now, but I'm going to do a review blog on Poetry, Pain, and Potions, which is an open mic, spoken word event, painting, drinks, they had food vendors and skin, what do you call it? Things to use on your skin, and then a cute, just sweet vendor who was selling like crystals and sage and jewelry and all of that. And I bought a tiger's eye beaded necklace and a bracelet from her, and I bought a sage wand, and I was teasing and joking with my girls because I used to buy sage wands when I was back in Seattle, and I'd be saging the house down as I prayed and stuff, just trying to keep the bad juju out. But I was joking at the hospital the other day at the nurse's station. I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring my sage in, and I started doing my sage dance, and they were laughing at me. But sometimes I just think we got to be silly and and just try to bring something positive into the environment that we're in, because it can get pretty negative. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I am in my Lady Flava mode and really digging it. I don't know, there's something about this time of year in Vegas where I cough off and on, so working on my health. I'm a pretty healthy person, pretty healthy what do you call it? I live a pretty healthy lifestyle all the way around with prayer and meditation. Been doing that for years. Drink lots of water, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, make green juice and green smoothies and all that type of stuff. But still, even at that, I've got some health issues I did not have back in Seattle. But I'm determined to get it in check and all that good stuff, so maybe I can eliminate it from existing in my life, or at least bring it to a minimal place where it doesn't really affect me too much. So I'm sitting here and in my workspace, got a fan blowing on me, ceiling fan going on over there. The AC is supposed to be on, but I'm pretty comfortable at this point. It's pretty hot here in Vegas. It's that time of year where the heat is just kind of something else. I walked out the other day to go to work and it was raining. I actually felt like it was refreshing, even though I hate the smell of the environment here when it rains. And the dust gets kicked up, and allergies set in for me this time of year. But I'm doing well. I'm doing really, really well. It feels good to be back to a space that makes me excited about, my purpose and passion. And I've been doing some educating for myself, because I kind of really been away from this solid since I've been in Vegas. Um, Back in Seattle, it was a way of life every single day, day and night. I woke up, you know, thinking Lady Flava stuff, went to bed thinking Lady Flava stuff, But down here, I've got a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, so um, that zaps my energy during the week because I deal with a lot of people, a lot of personalities in person and over the phone. And trust me, when 5:30 hits, I'm ready to hit that door and go home. But I don't have much energy to work on projects. I realize I really am a morning person. Um, and I've been that way for a long time, but I'm really, really realizing it because I'm waking up, with Lady Flava thoughts in my head, and okay, I need to create a post, and which social media am I going to put it on, or can I duplicate it, on the different social medias, whatever. Um, and just trying really hard to work on my brand and be consistent with the brand. So I've been listening to informational videos on YouTube around marketing and branding in 2021. Really love listening to some of the younger people and their ideas and concepts around, how to market and promote yourselves in this time and era. Hello, Edwin Victory. I'm still waiting for some music, darling. I've heard some of your original stuff, and I know you can sing. And I've heard you sing, right? So you need to send me some music, okay? Um, but, things have kind of shifted. They've shifted in how to market and promote. And I really, really would suggest to you, if you haven't done it, to do some research and educate yourself around promotions and marketing in 2021. The terms have changed. Even within the 4 years when I worked heavy with independent artists back home, the expectations have changed some. How you, target your audiences and to how to identify the audiences that you're targeting, what your capabilities are as far as how to promote, and what what you're honestly capable of doing, whether you're able to do the certain things on your own or if you're able to pay somebody to do it or have somebody on your team that has the ability to do some of the marketing tools that are needed for how they, want you to present yourself these days. I'm excited for you, Edwin. I'm sure that it's going to be wonderful. So I look forward to, following you and learning more and more about what you're doing. So are you saying that you're going to launch it on your birthday? Is February 22nd your birthday? I think sometimes it's good to have like a target date that you want to launch something, This project that I'm doing, Tell Your Story with Flava, is it was something that I didn't anticipate that I would do on my own, but I, was influenced, from some people in my world, from my personal world to my professional world, that encouraged me to do it myself. So I had to teach myself how to do some things. And trust me, it was a process. It was not fun. But then God opened up the door for me and pointed me in the direction of the apps that would make it easy for me to do what I needed to do. So I'm learning how to edit audio. I'm learning how to edit video. I need to learn some of Edwin Victory's tips on videos because I like what he did to a video that I shot of him at Bobby Rose and Friends. So, but anyway, it's all about learning some things, and these are things that I like, to do and want to learn, you know. So it's okay. But I was frustrated. I was frustrated because I should have had my first feature out, and I'm going to release it tomorrow. So I'm really, really excited about that. So I look forward to your project, Edwin. I do. I look forward to your project. So I wish I could get rid of this cough, though. I probably should have drank some tea before before I came on here live. But I didn't come on here with any, big topic to talk about or whatever, like most of the time I do. I just thought I would just stop by and try to be social, try to connect with some people, see who's up. It's not too late here in Vegas, but I was up this morning, did my radio show, started working on some projects, talked to a colleague, talked to, people back home. I'm going home. As soon as I can get my hospital staffed well, get my nursing manager back on days, and I'm going to arrange some time to go back home to Seattle. I did not know when I was back home before I moved here how progressive Seattle is. Seattle is a very progressive city, and I think my people back home really don't realize that. Their mindset is amazing, just very forward thinking, trying to create and develop new concepts and ideas of how to, market who they are and what they do, finding the right teams. Back home, I was a part of some great teams, and I was part of some great teams across the United States. Down here, it's a little bit different. It is a little bit different in how it's handled in the entertainment capital of the world. And so I haven't quite found my niche down here. But I'm not going to worry about it so much. I'm just going to do me. God put me here for a reason, to support great artists and entertainers. I especially love original music, original art. I definitely have appreciation for the entertainment down here. I do. But my heart and passion is original music. So that's why, Edwin, you need to send me some original music, okay? But, just finding my way through all of this, and I really want to be supportive of, the creative souls that come my way that I can really connect with. And been really thinking about, and had a conversation with one of my colleagues around, win-wins, what does that really look like, because back home, it was a conversation that was had so many times on my radio shows, and how do you develop win-wins? Because down here, and Edwin, tell me if I'm wrong, it feels like there's a lot of people doing individual things, and trying to create something on their own that people will buy into, versus collaborating and coming together on a larger scale to do something larger where there could be more media attention to, more opportunities for people across Las Vegas to come and experience, to hopefully drawing in the visitors. To me, it feels like where the money's at in Vegas is if you can tap into the tourism. I don't sense really that the entertainers are going to make money off of the locals. I think we need to somehow find a way to tap into tourism. And so, I don't know. For me, I like win-wins. I like building relationships. If I support you, you support me. And Tasha, I really appreciate you because you definitely show your support to me. And so, but I don't know. It just seems like people come to like Facebook, and there's not much going on when it comes to creative souls. I'm just not seeing it. It doesn't appear in my feed. Oh, so you're going to send me to a band camp, huh? Okay. I will, I will go check out the band camp link. So anyway, I will go check that out. But, so anyway, that's what I'm here for. I want to connect with creative souls. That's what excites me. That's why I came to Facebook back in 2008. And I don't know. Facebook, I think, is the most engaging if you can have people that will engage with you. But I think it's challenging. The other social medias, what I do appreciate them is I have been able to target who I want to interact with. I just need to find my niche to get the following, and all. But I'm determined. I'm going to figure it out because it's my calling, it's my calling. So I understand you drop on Bandcamp first. I understand. We have Bandcamp through our record label, Marlex Records, so I understand that too. It's an easy site to be able to download music, and I feel like, there's more control over there. I've been trying to figure out the different music, what do you call it, outlets to sell music, because I don't think it's that easy to maneuver. And I've been finding lately, I've been going to Amazon when I decide to purchase music, and then I was purchasing music, and then I never got the download link, and then I had to go hunting. I think I've got it figured out where to go find the download link if I don't get it immediately. But for me, I feel like it's not easy to figure out how to purchase music online. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that it's simple enough? Maybe I'm just too old, huh? Maybe I'm just too old to figure out how to purchase music online, because I believe in supporting. I also believe that if you want your music heard on a radio station, you just send it to the radio station, But I'm not against purchasing music if I really, really like it, I'm connected to Soul Tracks, and so, got the information on some new music that came out, and went and checked them out and did get their music, to play on my show. So there are different outlets that I follow too, to try to get music. But shoot, back in the day when I first started on the radio, I had people sending me music left and right, I agree with you as far as Bandcamp goes, being a good place to sell music. I agree, because you can, I agree with you on Bandcamp, Edwin. But I wish that more people would put it on Bandcamp, and I don't know why they don't do it that way. So how do people decide where they're going to sell their music? Do you know what the thought process is? I agree with you that as far as Bandcamp goes, you get your money quicker. I don't know how people, I think that some of it comes down to like the Spotify thing and Apple or iTunes and certain places. They record how many times music, I guess, is downloaded. I just can't figure out how to do it. That's my problem. I can't figure out how to get the music on those sites, I go over to these sites, and now I'm frustrated because Spotify just automatically pops up on my desktop when I turn it on. I'm like, I never gave permission for Spotify to pop up. So anyway, I don't know. Some things I wish my children were here so they could say, Mama, this is how you do it. This is how you find music, whatever. But anyway, I'll have to come back and check out what you wrote, Tasha. So one of the things that I used to do all the time, before I moved here, and I was a independent artist, coach, and consultant. April, blessings, my friend. You're doing amazing. Okay, you're doing amazing. One of the things that I would do is I made sure that I was up on, information, and understood how the market worked, and all of that. And then I moved here and just kind of got away from it. I was struggling when I first moved to Vegas, but I think there was a reason behind struggling, because I survived it all. And life isn't too bad for me right now. But that's why I decided I needed to really get back into educating myself on how things are being done. And again, like I said, it's very, very different, and it's really interesting because a lot of the videos that I'm watching are actually being given by rappers in the hip-hop community. And I really, really respect the information and how it's delivered, and the process of what they have gone through and how they have determined the direction that they need to go, versus wanting to get with a major label to doing it independently. And a lot of good information was given out the other night on one of the videos that I watched. Like, when you sign with a label, you could be shelved, you could be just put on hold. Hello, Joel, or JTreece. So anyway, they talked about, the lack of support that they actually got from being on a mainstream record label, and that they got out of their contract and went independent, where they control, everything, because the money really was not put behind them the way that a lot of people think that it is. The mainstream record labels are in some ways becoming non-existent. It's a avenue that works for certain people, but with all the creative souls out there, I really think that if you study and you do your research, you can find your niche, and find your way to market yourself out there. Ty Lewis, how are you, darling? See, I agree with you, JTreece, starting your own. Mark and I have our own record label. We haven't really done too much with it. Mark is working on his music, and we put it out through Marlex Records. But I think that people just need to educate themselves, and there's great tools out there for you to learn. And I'm going to tell you, YouTube is one of the best tools for me, because I don't necessarily like reading blogs and books anymore. And you can listen to audiobooks, or you can listen to podcasts, or just a variety of information on YouTube. So, but I again, as I was saying a little bit earlier, Edwin and all, I think that there's so many people, and I'm speaking down here in Vegas, in my opinion, what I've witnessed and sat back and watched, there's people trying to build things separately. And I think that somehow people should come together and build it on a larger scale. And as I was saying earlier, when it comes to the entertainment down here, and as you know, if you follow me, I support black arts and entertainment. And I think you don't want to market necessarily to the local people per se. Your money's going to be made off of the tourism if there's some way that you can market what you do to the tourists. So like the show that Ty is a part of, I don't know, I want to call it timeless, but I think that it's called something very different now, right, Ty? Um, and I know that I've seen the name, but I apologize, as I just can't remember. A show like that can definitely be marketed to the tourists, and maybe it is. But me, I like independent. I like being in control. I like figuring it out on my own, and I would love to connect with other people of like mine that are doing things on their own, but that somehow we could come together and support and all Motown. Okay. You know, where we could be supportive to each other, potentially help each other grow what each other is doing. I just think that we could go so much further, you know, if we went that direction. So Ty, is your show marketed to the tourists, or is it really marketed towards the locals? Because I know you guys are top-notch talents. Okay, I'll have to come back and check out what you wrote, JTreece. So yeah, I saw that you were going to be a part of Hitsville. I've not seen Hitsville, and I definitely will have to make arrangements to come check out that show. So I think that I'm kind of like you, JTreece. I like to do things independently on my own because I'm a control freak, and I like to be in control of what's going on when it comes to my business world, well, my personal world too. So I don't know. But I still think I think that even when you're independent, doing it on your own, there's a way of networking with others of like mind to to support each other. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong about that, but because it feels like down here, and maybe it did back home, because I was pretty involved in the independent music and very involved in hip hop back in Seattle. It was a lot of the same crowd, but it would grow. So down here, it feels like the same music and the same people, and that the different groups or entities have got a following, which I think is awesome. They've got loyal people that come to their shows, which is great, but it doesn't grow, you know. And I think that to make money, what you do needs to grow, and you need to draw new people in that are buying into and liking what you're doing. So you want to grow, and you want to entice new people to come out and experience. Now, a show like what Ty is involved with, of course it's the same music, but trust and believe. It is such a what do you call it, polished show. Like the choreography, the costumes, the vocals are on point. When I saw it, when they were known as Timeless, one of the best shows that I experienced here in Las Vegas. So I know it's even better. I know it's even better now. And I love to see entertainment like that is polished, that just dazzles and sparkles and just hits every positive nerve in your body that just says, yes, this is amazing. And when I came to Vegas for the first time as an adult in 2014 to see my tribute to the Tations brothers perform. You know, I'd only seen them long distance on videos, you know, as they traveled the world performing, and that was my first time seeing them in person. And, you know, since I've been working with them and being involved with Mark, that they're top notch too, like top notch entertainers. You know, I've watched them go through rehearsals, you know, the costumes that they wear, you know, changing the costumes after each set, as they call shows, but I call it sets. But you know, my tribute brothers, man, they're very committed and dedicated entertainers, and that's when I fell in love with what I call Vegas entertainment. So I definitely have an appreciation for you know, that type of Vegas entertainment where you just know time and commitment and dedication has gone into it. JTreece, are you wanting to come on with me? I see this thing popped up singing bring them on camera. Let me know if you want me to try to bring you on camera, because I will. But I just kind of wonder, you know, how's it going in the world of being a creative soul and trying to market and promote yourselves and grow your audience and go beyond what you've already done? Because I can tell you, for me, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge, you know, and but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out, you know. Like I said, I've been spending time on YouTube, you know, researching, and you know, I some things I do think that you can do it the old school way. I was telling, you know, some of the people in my world here, to, you know, having conversations with my sisters back home. Man, we used to pack venues just by word of mouth. That was before the days of, you know, social media, internet, and all that stuff, right? All we had to do was say, okay, see you next weekend. And folks, you know, met up. You know, just by saying, you know, let's meet up. Concerts, we feel, you know, you know, just by telling, okay, let me see how I do this. Joel. Anyway, I hit the bring on camera. So let's see if you're.
Hello?
Now what do we do? I don't even know what happened. Oh, there you are.
Hey,
Hi.
how you doing?
I'm good. It's good to have you on here with me.
Thanks for inviting me.
So you prefer doing it the independent way, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've been offered some stuff as far as some labels, but me being independent, I don't have to go by their deadlines and their guidelines and everything else. I can take time with my music and put it out when I want to put it out, when I think it's ready, instead of them going, you got to do it now. We need it out next week. But I don't want that headache.
Right.
Well, one, that, and then two, I do music for the love of, I do music for the love of music. So if it starts feeling, for me, if it starts feeling like work, I don't want to do it.
And I understand why you say that. That's one of the things in the videos that I've been watching when they talk about, you know, mainstream record labels and all of that, that, you know, you're controlled, you're told, you know, basically they own you and what you're doing. You know, if they want to sit you on the shelf, you sit on the shelf. If they want to put you out there. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that when they put money into you, you're paying that money back. You know, so
and a lot of people don't know also what they'll do as far as sitting on a
think that's one of my things too, why I kind of work. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. It paused, huh?
It's glitching. What happens sometimes when they put you on a shelf, the reason they do that, it's also a tax write-off for them. So they will put that money behind you with no intent to put you out. And then they can write it off later on.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that part of it. That kind of makes sense too,
yeah.
you know. So I do understand the aspect of being independent. Now, are you running into challenges doing it on your own?
Yeah, getting it to the right hands. I've I've gotten a lot of help through people like yourself and people with independent online radio stations and stuff like that. I'm in Maryland. I'm on the East Coast, so
Okay.
I, yeah. So I have a large fan base overseas, mainly the UK,
Mm,
and they're showing me love.
okay.
Matter of fact, I'm supposed to go over there next month. It just depends on to perform, but it just depends on this whole COVID thing. But
Sure.
here in the States, if you're not part of the mainstream, that's the problem. You get looked over, so it's hard trying to break through that onto that mainstream
Right.
scene, the independent
Oh, come on. Let's.
and the stuff overseas, because it's where people are showing me love. So I'm going to continue doing it that way until it goes another route.
Understand that. I reposted something that one of my author friends posted up today, talking about being an independent artist and the lack of support that independent artists get versus, people just really putting a lot into mainstream and the mainstream. And it's something that I've talked about too, where, the mainstream people don't even know, your name,
Mm-hmm.
that you really, really exist, where um, if you can gain that support. And there's always people that say, "Oh, Lady Flava, I love you," and what you're doing and this and that, but there's not much support behind that, and I
Yeah,
was talking earlier in this post about win-wins, and how do we build win-wins so that I believe that we can help each other grow what we're doing. You
yeah,
know, if I put you in front of my network and play your music on my radio show, you know, share my radio show with your network or whatever. I recognize on social media though, for the independent artists, it's really big to have their music played on stations that they can chart off of.
yeah. Well, you know what?
And
I started. I was at one point in time. I was trying to do that, and it started becoming a headache. And the more it started becoming a headache, I saw myself going in a direction I didn't want to go in. And like I said, it
okay,
started seeming like work. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is taken away from my love for the music. So I ended
right.
up saying, you know what? If I chart, I chart. If I don't, I have the mentality. If I have two people that like my music, great. If it's 2 million, great. But I'm not going to
Hmm.
change what I'm doing just for that
Right.
get that 2 million. So it's fine. My
No,
dogs are
and
going
I'm kind
crazy.
of there too. There was a point when Facebook, I don't know how many years ago it was, maybe it's been 4 years, 4 or 5 years, they changed my name from Lady Flava on this page to Susan. Basically, I think that I've
Mm-hmm.
upset somebody and they turned me in spam or something. So no matter what I sent to Facebook to prove that my business is Lady Flava or Flava News or Flava Coffee House, they forced the change. So I'm blocked from being able to change my name. So once this page went to Susan, I lost a lot of my brand. When I was on I've been on the radio since 2009, and it was pretty popular. And
Mm-hmm.
had people calling into my shows from all over the world and this and that. And now, you see me sometimes putting up a post saying thank you to those that call me Lady Flava. When I go out here in Vegas, sometimes people are calling me Susan. I'm like, wow, you don't even know Susan. You're not a part of my personal world. I think that's my ego talking, though, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
And
understand.
so, but Lady Flava News, that's my brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got frustrated, and I was like, okay, um, how do I create that following again that I once had as Lady Flava on here? And then, kind of like you, it's kind of went back to, you know what, God put me here to do this, and the people that are meant to connect with me and pay attention will. And the biggest thing that I want is not only to show support to great independent artists, but to put you guys in front of people who will love and appreciate you who are not artists,
Mm.
you know, that
Yeah.
will buy your music and share you with their audiences because, you know, I'm in the entertainment capital of the world, right?
Mm.
One of the conversations I have a lot is I hear the same songs over and over and over.
Yeah.
When it comes to polished shows that you will see, um, Ty Lewis, who was on the stream, I don't know if she's still on here. It's a very polished Motown show that she's a part of. And, you know, but you can tell the commitment and dedication is it's just on point. You know, their
Mm.
choreography, their costumes, their vocals are on point. So
Mm.
that I have an appreciation for. But there's a lot of here open mic type shows
Yeah.
where some very polished entertainers are performing on open mics. Um, and for Black entertainment, I not too much has really opened up when it comes to the casinos letting them back in, you know, to perform. So I don't know what that's going to look like. But for me, I love original music. You know, I do. There's
Yeah.
something about just hearing something that is fresh, you know, something that's created by an individual or a group that's just, you know,
Yeah.
just makes me say,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Well, you know
sounds
what?
good. That feels good.
That was one of the things about, and I hate the fact that but it's the truth. The Europeans, that's the reason I end up getting more fans over there because they go out and look for new music. A lot of can stick to that mainstream. And like I said, if you're not part of that mainstream, you get looked over. And the way I found this out, I used to manage this one artist, which is actually my nephew, and he went by the name of Jay Reed, and he had a song
Okay.
that I co-produced called Maniac. And I think what would happen,
Okay.
overseas ended up doing pretty good because what happened was people were overseas were looking for stuff from Jay-Z. So as soon as they put in Jay, his name came up and they started listening to it and he started getting plays that way. But the Europeans, like I said, they go out looking for new music. And we tend to hear, and I lived in Europe for almost 10 years also.
A lot of the places
here in the States, like I said, we don't really go out looking for new music and new artists.
I think I missed the part of what you just said at the very end.
I said the thing about here in the States, we don't go out looking for new music and new artists. We stick with the mainstream and listen to what is fed to us instead of us going out looking for new stuff.
Exactly. So the mainstream media has the budget to be behind whoever they decide that we will buy into. And that's one of the things
it's crazy.
that
I'm glad I learned what I. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You're fine.
Oh, one thing I'm glad I learned when I lived over in Europe, because when I lived over in Europe, I got a taste of the European music scene and stuff like that. But I also started looking for new music. And here's a prime example. Before Ed Sheeran came out, I knew about him like 2 to 3 years before he came out. Because I ended up finding him online and I was listening, I'm going, this kid is good. He's real good. And then like maybe a couple months later, Jamie Foxx had on XM radio, the Foxhole. Jamie Foxx had him on there. And it's, again, no one knew who Ed Sheeran was. He had him on his show. And I heard him on, I said, that's the kid I've been listening to. And then maybe a year after that, he was huge.
Okay. I realized too, you know, since I've been on internet radio, when international artists reach out to me to have their music played, it's a big deal for them to have their music played in the United States.
Exactly.
You know, so, and I get some really good, high quality recordings from international recording artists, you know, over in Africa to especially like Italy and Greece right now. The music is just, production is really, really good.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to check some stuff out from over there. There's a guy speaking of UK, a guy out of England called, and I told Lady Marmalade about him. His name, he goes by the name of Leflex, Leflex. He sounds like George Michael's. I mean, the way he sings and the music he does, it's that type of music. But he is unbelievable. But like I said, he won't because he's overseas and he's big over there. Well, I'm not sure how big he is, but I know he's selling wise music. He's doing pretty good, but he's a hell of a singer and producer and everything. But a lot of people here don't know who he is at all.
Okay. I from time to time go on the different music outlets or whatever and check out new music or put in independent or whatever, and it's really exciting to me, you know, to come across some new sounds for me, you know, and so when there was a point that I was A&R rep for Spectrum Music Group for the hip hop and R&B and jazz divisions, and it was really an interesting experience to be a part of that record label, which is pretty large across the United States and even around the globe. And I think that even that type of level with that type of independent record label, there comes along, you know, a lot of requirements, and one of them is how many real followers do you have?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good you are. They want to know how many real followers that you have and if they're going to be able to sell your music.
Yeah, well, they want you to have everything done so they don't have to do anything now. They want everything handed to them and they can just put it out.
Exactly.
There's no more artist development and stuff like that and then marketing you the right way. They want you to bring everything to the table. So the only thing they have to do is stroke a check and put it out, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. They have the connections with the distribution.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a very, very eye-opening experience, you know, for me to be a part of that. So I don't have any regrets, you know, in going that direction because it was a learning experience. And that's one of the things that I like. So I appreciate you coming on because it's nice to get to know you and see a face along with the music that I've played. But I appreciate the knowledge that you're sharing, you know, because I think that's what we need to do sometimes. It's just share information with each other and see how, you know, we can connect and how we can help each other and how we can grow as individuals, or if there's a way for us to do something together, you know, to take it further, you know. So I'm with you too as far as being independent, because I think I will always be that way. You know, there are people that have tried to bring me up on their team, you know. I've been Lady Flava since 2003, so I'm not new to this, you know. But people like to bring me onto their team because they know I'll put in work. You know, different skills that I have that are beneficial. But you know what? It's really interesting because when it comes down to my stuff, they don't back me up. It's very much has been a one-sided thing. So I've pulled back too.
It's understandable.
In working with certain projects. So when I get involved in a project, it's because I want to. You know, it is something because the win for me is a feel good. It's a project that I really believe in. I really believe in who's, you know, a part of creating it and all of that. But, you know, so I'm trying to find my peace, you know, Joel, where it's just the feel good, you know, and if it's meant to go beyond that, then it will.
Yeah. It's like, as long as you love what you're doing, that's like I said, that I do the music because I love music, and that's the reason I do it. So as long as you, like you said, have that feel good thing behind it, nothing else should matter. Is because that besides you feeling happy and good about what you did. And then another reason I did independent too, which is the big thing that really took me the wrong way, is the one thing that shouldn't be judged due to age is music. Music is ageless and everything else, but the record labels want you to be between the ages of 15 and 27, which is crazy. And I understand it, but they also have to think about this: that 17 to 20 whatever years old, 9 times out of 10 or whatever, the parents of those kids are the ones buying music for the kids. One, two, and I told I have family that's in the music business. And I've said that there's a gap that they're missing for 35 to 40 and over. that still want to hear music and still buy music and still go to these concerts, and they're missing that audience, especially
Yeah.
for new music. You still have the Jay-Z's and the Beyoncé's that's now in their 30s and stuff like that, and they're carrying the people that listened to them when they were younger. They're carrying those people over. But you have the
Right.
people that were older than them that are wanting music that radiates with them. And I think the major labels are missing the mark when it comes to 40 and over as far as marketing music towards them.
Right. I agree.
I think there's a lot of money to be made. Yeah, I think there's a lot of money to be made there.
And I agree with you. And I think you're right. They're missing the mark when it comes to certain audiences who honestly value music.
Yeah.
You know, I remember back in the day when I would be buying 45s and 33s, and I would line them up, you know, as far as categories or artists or whatever it was. And it was almost like my trophy, you know, trophies of owning this album or this 45, you know.
Yeah.
And I think back in those days, you know, you could tell me what you think, but I think music was really valued then. Even if you bought an album and you only liked 2 or 3 songs on it, you know.
Exactly. But see, this is a tell sign too that they should be following. And they know it's happening. The records of vinyl is coming back, but the people that are buying vinyl are, like I said, 40 and over that knew vinyl from before. So that right there is a tell sign that, look, these people are buying music. We need to start catering towards them.
I agree with you, and that's a great point because you're right. Vinyls are coming back, and I love seeing that. My brother Alvin, he restores, you know, stereo systems and all, you know, and he's been a big collector of vinyls, you know, and I don't know. I mean, Joel, how many people are like bragging about buying a digital download?
None. And I miss the days of even with CDs. I would buy a CD just to take the insert out and read who was playing on it and this, that, and this. Right. Same thing with records. You can't do that now. You can't do it.
No, and you're right. I mean, CDs, you know, people collecting CDs and all of that. I did the same type of thing when it came to the CDs, you know, because there's something about holding something, being able to touch it, you know, and read it and, you know, and all of that, that I think to me takes it to a different level. You know, there's some great independent authors out there. And I started out as Lady Flava at my coffee house as a book reviewer of African American literature. And there's nothing like getting those books delivered to my coffee house, you know? And I would sit there between customers reading the books. And I do have Kindle, you know, but for some reason I just have not gravitated to just holding that hard thing, you know, and just saying, okay, let me read this, you know, and doing all this. There's something about
the days of licking your finger and turning the page. Turning the page,
You know, and being able to put a CD in, but I can look at, oh, the song's called this, you know, or this is who was on this song, or the credits are this, you know.
Yeah.
So, or, you know, back in the day when they actually had the lyrics.
Yeah.
And you could sing along.
Exactly.
So I hope that we get back to the point where we really, really can value and appreciate music. One of the things that I've told many of the artists, you know, behind the scenes that say to me, oh, you played a song from back in the day of mine or whatever. You know, I might do a show that's called the Indie Classics or something, but I would tell them, you know what, in my opinion, you don't have to identify when it was created because it's new to somebody.
Exactly.
You know, so let them just experience it for what it is, as long as it's relevant, as long as it, you know, captures their attention and makes them feel good, makes them, you know, groove, whatever it is, you know, it's new to somebody. And it doesn't matter when it was created, you know, and the music is good. I mean, I could understand if your production has improved, you know, within time, I get that. But there's some music, Joel, that just makes me smile from back in the day, from some of the artists that I still play today, but I'll go back, you know, to 2009 when I started on radio and started playing their music, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why. It's almost like they forget the music that they created once upon a time. So what do you think that's about?
Music it comes in in cycles. So what's hot today isn't hot tomorrow. So you have a lot of artists that try to, especially mainstream, that try to keep up with the times. So they will, if it's a new sound that's out now, they'll try to get that new sound instead of being true to what's them and what made them. And see, and that's the type of artist I am. I listen, don't get me wrong, I listen to mainstream just to catch what's going on, but I do music that I love to do. And I know there's people that like the same thing that I like. So I stick to that. I don't try to fit in where everybody else is at. And I think that's where a lot of artists miss the mark, is that they try to fit into what's going on now. One of the biggest examples is, and I wish he would go back to what was made him who he was, is Brian McKnight.
Okay.
He tried to do the mainstream stuff, and to me, it took away from his creativity and who he was or who he is. So, but like I said, every artist does that now. So, but that's just my opinion.
No, and I work with some great musicians down here, and you know, they more so talk about creating something that the young people are going to buy into, but they're not necessarily young.
Yeah.
I have to recognize I'm no young cookie. I'm 60 years old, but I still have a passion for supporting creative souls. You know, so I have to find my angle and my lane, you know, of where it fits in, and I can have an audience, you know, that's going to pay attention to me. But, you know, sometimes they really can't pull it off because, like you just said, that's not their sound, that's not their vibe. You know, and I kind of had a debate with somebody down here around the fact that if they visually saw that artist, the young people may not really buy into it.
I said the same thing to somebody here about an artist they had in the studio. It's a studio I go to have my stuff mixed, and I became real good friends with the owner. And it's a guy that was going out when I was coming in, and I heard his stuff, but I didn't know it was him that was singing it. And then I saw the video of him, and I was like, he may not want to put. And I didn't want him to do the Milli Vanilli, but I'm like, if they see who it is, I said, he's trying to be this young hip whatever. I said, it's not going to go over well. It's really not going to go over well. So, but I mean, like I said, you got a prime example of as far as sticking or staying in your lane. Back in the day, Will Smith, prime example. He had I saw an interview with him. He said he had a lyric book when he first started out that had all of his songs in it, and he was cursing and this, that, and this, and his grandmother told him, "This isn't you." She said, show people how intelligent you are without doing all this cursing and stuff like that. Be true to you. So he stayed in his lane. And there's a lot of rappers back in the day that used to clown him because he wasn't what was going on at that time. When gangster rap was going on, he stayed true to who he was. It may have taken him a little while, but he stayed true to who he was, and look at him now. So, I mean, you got to stick to your guns. If this is you, be you. Don't be someone else.
Right. I agree. And I think that, you know, you're going to find your audience, you know, because, but I think it's also important to find your audience. You know, that's one of the things that I have to talk about. And I did talk about when I was an indie artist consultant. You got to find your audience. You know, if you're hip hop, you don't put yourself out there in a jazz group, you know, unless they cross over or whatever. You don't put yourself out there to everyone. You got to find your audience that's going to appreciate. Now, what I do on my radio shows, I'll blend genres, and that's what I like to do, is blend it because, and it's something that I've done almost since the very beginning, because I feel like there's a way of, you know, that the sounds can complement. And it gives an opportunity to my audience to listen to some music that maybe they wouldn't listen to, because they're used to listen to a certain genre or sound, you know, so I blend it. But, you know, that's just something that I have established for myself as a radio show host. But, you know, I think that there's a way of staying in your own lane, staying in where you do it well. which makes you happy, that brings less stress into your life. And you can really find your niche and find that following, I think.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that in these videos that I'm listening to talks about is, finding your niche, finding that look that stands out, finding, they talk about even fonts and colors of your posts and all of that, just that helps identify you and stuff. And,
Yeah.
I think those are things that people should pay attention to, because when you're bouncing all over the place, people may not know what it is that you're doing.
Exactly. And I had to do that with my music to a point. The new song that you're playing, "Doing What You Do," I don't know if you played Starlight either, but I had a song called Starlight, which it's almost in that same dance type thing, R&B dance, yeah. And I did that song and put it out, and the people in the UK grabbed on it real quick, and I'm like, huh. So it made me think, and so then I put out "Doing What You Do," and right away, again, it did the same thing. So I'm like, okay, this is my niche. What I'm doing doesn't sound like anything else that anyone is doing, and people are liking it. It's the same thing with the song "Heartbeat." I said people aren't doing this type of thing, so I know what my lane is and my niche is. So I'm staying in my lane, my niche, and ride it out and see what happens.
Right. And I think that's good. I think it's also okay to sample little flavors into what it is that you've created as a sound, something that's a little bit different, that kind of that kind of makes it good long enough, huh? I really enjoyed having you on here with me, though. I don't normally have people join me. There we go. But Joel, I love what I do. I've been doing this for a long time, and I think God just put it in me, that this is, my daddy told me a long time ago, I'm a Baptist minister's daughter. And daddy told me a long time ago, he said, Susan, your ministry is with artists and creative souls. He said, it's not going to be easy, but it's the calling that God put on you. And so I take what I do very seriously. It's not a joke to me. I put a lot of thought into it. But when I came to Vegas, part of me felt like I died, because this is such a different environment. And it's not as welcoming to original music. But I think that's a way, because during the pandemic, a lot of the Vegas entertainers created their own music. And and I hope that they would actually start singing it at the shows that they perform at, But originally why I moved down here was because I wanted to create a venue that was called Flava's Lounge, where independent artists could come to the entertainment capital of the world and perform. And so I have this stash of money, set aside. It's just sitting there, and I don't know whether I'm going to try to do it or not, but I wanted to make sure the independent artists got paid, and, put them in front of some people and be able to give them that opportunity to say, I performed in Vegas, And so that was my goal to come down here, but I wasn't finding that network of people that really kind of supported that concept, So I was like, did I come down here and just, for no reason? And then, I got involved with, some Vegas entertainment and, wanted to support or whatever, but it's very different down here. It's very, very different, but I think it's still doable, and I'm not going to give up hope.
Yeah, I think that one of the hurdles may be that because you're in Vegas and you have these top stars that come to Vegas and have their residencies and stuff like that, it may take away from these independent artists coming there to do things. But depending on the atmosphere, as far as the establishment that you get, I think it could be done. You have people that want to get away from that main strip of stuff that's going on in Vegas and go off the strip and have a place that they can sit back and chill and listen to music and have a drink and have a good evening. So I think that there should be an audience there for you for that. It's just a matter of getting the right marketing person behind it to push it. But I think there's an audience out there for it, and I think you could definitely pull it off.
And I think when I first moved here, I was so excited about doing it. I had people ready to fly down here, you know, to see what I was doing, you know, and stuff. And so I just need to, you know, get out more and, you know, explore what, you know, venues have the capability of providing the atmosphere that I want for Flava's Lounge. I really want it to go beyond music. I would love to have an environment where, you know, it could be art showings with music in the background. It could be, you know, book readings and signings. You know, it could be spoken word. It could be just music, you know. So, but, you know, that's why I moved down here from Seattle. But, you know, I'm finding my way back to just being really excited. I'm grateful to God for this, you know, and I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling very, very hopeful. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing this time with me, though. I've learned a lot.
Another thing you may want to look at is not only just independent artists, try to find a place that you can have regular mainstream artists come to try out new material. That would be the niche to get more people coming in and especially like the independent artists get to come there and do their thing. Once in a while, you may have, and I'm just throwing names out there, you may have Lenny Kravitz coming that wants to test out some new music. He comes through to test out his new music just to see how the fans react.
Right.
Yeah, that's the way I would market it, and that way I would do it.
And that's a great idea. I appreciate you sharing that with me. The venue that I originally was going to do my show in was kind of like this off the strip, very close to the strip, but off the strip place that is famous for the pack rats. Am I saying it right? The rack pat, but pat.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Would come and hang out there after the Rat Pack, and would perform there, and their pictures were all over the walls and everything. And I thought, and it's very eclectic, very different, you know, look, and that's like my Flava. Is not like this perfect polish, you know, chrome, you know, steel kind of look. I kind of like a flavorful setting. And so that was the idea of choosing this particular location. And then the person before me kind of screwed it up because they did 2 or 3 shows there and brought absolutely no audience.
Oh, wow.
And so then the owner decided he wanted to charge me $1,000 a show.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay, but you know, I didn't have a budget for that. You know, so, but it would have been perfect for even what you're talking about. But it would have been perfect for all the you know, things that I would have wanted to do. But I just need to take the time, you know, and get out. There's lots of venues, and because of the pandemic, you know, there are places that I think would want to pair up with somebody that they can build with to bring in an audience, and they can provide, you know, great food and drinks or whatever, you know, atmosphere.
Exactly, and I would call it off the strip Flava Lounge. There you go. There you go.
You're spitting a lot of information and putting a lot of just, I'm so glad that you came on with me tonight. Thank you so much for sharing this with me.
No problem.
You helped get a girl excited about, you know, all of this. Because I kind of put it on the back burner, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, get back to doing your radio shows. I'm launching, you know, Tell Your Story with Flava tomorrow. I'm really excited about that. But you put that kind of thought back in my head about, you know, Flava's Lounge as an actual show.
But I'm saying things happen for a reason, and things happen at their own time. I was going to write a song. I'd started writing a song at one point in time to stop, but I'm going to go back to it, called Never Too Late. And the reason I was going to call it Never Too Late was because people were saying to me, you're too old to go back into music and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's never too late to get back into stuff like that. So that stuck in my head. So I lived that. It's never too late to live your dreams and do what you want to do. So by all means, if this is what you're set, what you came to Vegas to do, it may not have been set for you to do it then, but now may be the time for you to do it. Same thing with me with my music. If I'd have had the technology I have now, back when I was 20 years old trying to do music, I keep saying I would have been huge. But who knows? Maybe it's my time now, and this is why everything is happening for me now, because now is my time. So
Here you go.
Yeah.
See, it was meant for you to pop up here.
Exactly.
I think you're right. Timing is everything. And sometimes I'm not the most patient person. God knows this about me. I'm not always the most patient. But, you know, this past year, he's instilled in me to just really get to know myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the things I realized about me is I needed to take care of my health, mind, body, and spirit, you know?
Exactly.
And maybe because I'm in a pretty good place in my world, you know, maybe like you coming on tonight and me just even deciding to, you know, go live, you know, on Facebook tonight, you know.
Yeah.
A blessing to me, and I received that.
Yeah. Well, you have my information. You know how to get in contact with me. If you want to talk, just hit me up. And we can bounce ideas off of each other and go from there.
That sounds good. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks. Like I said, thanks for inviting me, and we'll definitely be talking.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, John.
All righty.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that was awesome. That was awesome. 2 of his songs, you know, on my radio shows, and this is what I wanted to do. I've been trying to tell myself you need to come live and get connected, you know, and you know, just you know, interact with the people somehow on Facebook and find out what it is that people want, you know, how I can better serve you guys, you know, let you know what, you know, I want, just like sharing with Joel, you know. So you know, I appreciate what he shared. You know, he put a spark in me that I was like, I haven't thought about Flava's Lounge as an actual show in a long time, it feels like. So I don't know, maybe like he said, you just never know. Timing is everything, and sometimes God takes us on a path that just maybe doesn't make sense, but we just gotta put ourselves out there, you know, and just be patient, and he will open up the doors. So Tasha, you're a blessing too, my friend, you know, and I appreciate your support and all of that. And I think all of us, we can come together in our own ways as individuals and as individual businesses. You know, I think we can, you know, come together and support each other, you know, and find ways that, you know, we can help each other with our strengths, you know, to take this further. You know, I'm kind of like Joel. I like to do things on my own and independent, you know, so you know, we'll just see, you know, we'll just see where all of this goes. But I'm going to jump off of here and probably go to bed soon. What time is it? Go to bed soon, and because I'm going to get up early and publish my first edition of Tell Your Story with Flava. So to everyone who stopped by tonight, if I didn't see you because I was talking to JTreece, I apologize, but I'm going to try to do this more, you know, so I can get connected more with you guys. And I would love, you know, to have more people pop on, you know, live with me, and we can talk and share, you know, and all of that. So tonight was a blessing. I thank you for being a part of it, and stay tuned. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, early tomorrow, I'm going to publish Tell Your Story with Flava with my first entertainer that I'm blessed to have this opportunity to provide platforms for him to share his story. So take care, God bless, and good night. See you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.